almost 50 years of Star Trek that had existed before we came into it, we wanted to play in harmony with what is known as Star Trek canon. And that meant that we had an enormous amount to draw from. Whereas there was really only one story we felt we could tell in the first one. There were a million in the second.
There are a number of characters we could have used, and there are a number of issues that we talked about in terms of Khan, and one of them was, why do that? Why bring him back? We'd established a brand new sort of timeline. We could do anything we want. Let's just do something brand new. But the truth is that no one resonated like Khan. There was such a personal connection between Khan and Kirk.
Khan, you still remember Admiral?
To me, it was the combination of the opportunity of taking something that was extraordinarily rich and mythic, and also update it not only with a new actor, but to take the character and sort of use that character in a way that hadn't been used before. He was really the one character that we were going to completely reinvent the way we tried to reinvent the main characters.
Mr. Spock.
In your travels, did you ever encounter a man named Khan?
Originally, the first thing we thought of was, who are the actors that we thought would feel, as we did with the first, film, in the spirit of what had come before. Damon mentioned Benedict Cumberbatch, and I watched him, and he was so not the Khan that I knew at all. And so on that level, I thought, oh, well, we're definitely going to get in trouble, because, fans of it are going to say, oh, he looks nothing like it, it makes no sense. But the truth is, I think if something is good, that sort of supersedes everything. This felt like the righteous way to go because he was so damn good.
I got a call saying they are considering you to play the baddie in the next Star Trek film. And I went, what, as in the J.J. Abrams franchise? And I went, yeah. I went, oh, nice. Can I see a script? No. Can I see something? No. Who am I playing? We can't tell you.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes, Cumberbatch. He's flying over right now. He's like, Zachary Quinto.
You're mine.
Quinto.
You're going down.
I am pretty much literally off the boat, so it's about 12 o'clock, even though it's only, what is it here? It's tea time here, isn't it, really? So I'm kind of in a daze. I'm in a bit of a dream, and it all feels a bit surreal.
Benedict's a very kind of casual, easygoing guy, and to see Khan come to life, and it was like he all of a sudden stood up straighter, and his back was like ramrod straight, and his head would tilt in these precise angles, and it just was so much fun to watch.
Why aren't we moving? An unexpected malfunction, perhaps, in your warp core.
There's a lot of power in stillness, and Benedict certainly understands that. And in a big, huge action movie like this, I think those moments can sometimes be the most resonant for the audience because it requires them to lean in.
John Erickson was the fiction created by your Admiral Marcus.
A smoke screen to conceal my true identity. My name is Khan.
The big line in this movie is, my name is Khan. We knew that if we were able to nail that moment, that it would be a huge, there'd be a gasp from the audience, or applause from people who really wanted that to happen, or boos from people who just hated us for doing it.
When I read that in the script, I just leapt off my seat and screamed at the top of my voice. I remember thinking the people in the room next to me must think someone's being murdered.
I had no choice but to escape alone.
We needed to make this character talk about himself and what his past was to both huge fans of Trek who are going to be just rubbing their hands together going, oh my God, I know what the Botany Bay is. I understand why that guy in that torpedo is frozen and why there are 72 of them. And someone who didn't know any of these things.
If you want to know why I did what I did, go and take a look.
Give me one reason why I should listen to you.
I can give you 72.
Who is this man who has been brought back from death, has been defrosted and aligned to play a spearheading role in militarizing Starfleet and creating weapons of mass destruction, as well as heading up an army of elite warriors?
I had every reason to suspect that Marcus had killed every single one of the people I hold most dear.
The character of Khan needs to have melodrama to him. It's got to be hyper-real, but at the same time, it's got to be really relatable. So the fun surprise is when he says, is there anything you would do for your family, in a very relatable and emotional way. So you kind of can't deny him, because what he's saying is something that we all feel.
My crew is my family, Kirk. Is there anything you would not do for your family?
he's dealt quite a rough hand. Maybe I'm just saying that because I'm the man who plays him. He does open fire on an unarmed room of Starfleet commanders, but his hands, in my eyes, as a character, are utterly tied by what Marcus is doing. Khan is almost a weapon, and Alexander Marcus is the human that uses that weapon.
Normally in a popcorn summer movie, you want to know who your bad guy really is, and here we have two guys that are candidates for who the villain is.
While Khan may in fact be the same Khan that you know from The Wrath of Khan, his motivations are extremely different, and he was used by the real big bad of our movie, and that real big bad is Admiral Marcus.
Kirk, you want to take him out? You park on the edge of the neutral zone, you lock on to Harrison's position, you fire, you kill him, and you haul ass.
The guy who's playing the antagonist cannot look at his part as an antagonist. Everybody from the inside out looks like a protagonist. All Alexander Marcus is trying to do, he's not doing evil for evil's sake. He's a guy who really believes that what he's doing is patriotic.
In this movie, you're really questioning, what do I do in this situation? Where does your loyalty lie? Who do you trust? It's an infinitely more kind of complex and in some ways darker story than the first movie.
He's playing you, son. Don't you see that? Khan and his crew were condemned to death as war criminals. And now it is our duty to carry out that sentence before anybody else dies because of him. Give him to me so that I can end what I started.
Launching activation sequence on 3, 2, 1.
It began with an idea that we do a ship-to-ship sequence to get them from one place to another as sort of quickly and visibly as possible.
I mean, we kind of done some of that with the drill platform thing last time. So I think Chris Pine and all the other guys involved are used to or were up for doing that.
Previs is basically the ability to make your movie before the movie's made. And what the process allows us to do is figure out shot by shot in an edit, what your final product is going to be.
We have Khan and Kirk flying from one ship to another. What is that going to look like? Ultimately, all we had were two guys hanging on a wire in front of a green screen. What's the best way to lens and tell that story?
One of the great things about previs is it's a fantastic communication tool. If you do a previs and say, this is what I want to achieve, then everyone can look at the previs and go, okay, I need to have a flying guy, and there's a monkey in this shot, and there's whatever else it is.
And we actually had it down to the lens, so the lenses that we used actually matched the lenses they used on set. So when they got on set, they knew exactly what lens to put on. We have tons of massive debris flying through the space. We had to figure out how the actors were going to interact with it.
What's moving is the background is moving. So we're moving background and we're putting little meteors and dust and debris. All of that has to be figured out.
Captain, there is debris directly ahead.
Copy that.
You have nothing to work with. You have two guys hanging on a wire. We have to know what they're reacting to. The actors need to know what they're reacting to.
JJ would, figure out, well, they need to fly right, they need to fly left to sort of dodge what's happening. Then we would just separate it out beat by beat and make a plan for how to shoot it.
3, 2, 1, yank.
Imminent collision detected. Khan, use evasive action. There is debris directly ahead. I see it.
That tail marks, yeah?
Same crack movie, Chris.
Focus. Debris action.
Flying, debris, and bang!
And using previs, it allows us to get those moments and figure out when the actor has to react to something hitting his mask.
Down at the crack. The Scotty line, please, Chris. Scotty, you're gonna be ready for that door, right?
It's just a little tough because they're standing there, on a green screen stage and they're pretending to fly between the ships. But I mean, the actor's just so fantastic at doing it. They're up for any of it.
Now we're going to transition from flying through space into The Vengeance. JJ really wanted it to be in camera if we could possibly do it.
I mean, the approach to it was always try to do as much as you can in camera and try to get as much on screen.
Shooting real elements adds a truth to the scene that you can't get any other way. I love when people can't tell. They say, what part of this is CG, what part of this is real, and they guess wrong. It's my favorite thing.
So we are in a warehouse where the Spruce Goose was built, and it is a giant, ugly, old wooden warehouse. Now, it's ugly only because it's supposed to be a very cool, sexy, dark, scary, modern ship. So what we decided to do was build basically this sort of runway area, light it, and just leave everything else black. In the background, there's gack and stuff for the stunt team. But we're just backlighting it so it just looks like cool stuff.
When JJ told us what he wanted us to do, all of us were staying there going, it's not going to work. We were all standing in this gigantic light-colored wood warehouse where JJ's notion was we weren't going to green screen really anything. We were going to turn the lights off, make the floor black, and shoot the whole environment as is, and somehow through the magic of stage lighting and set design and how we framed the camera, we would need to do virtually no post-production in it.
The trick of the scene is to sort of say, this kind of architecture exists in the space, but this is the whole space. That way when we're into closer shots, longer lens, where we can see some of the actual stuff, it's all in camera, we would go, oh, I get what they're in, and it looks cool. Yeah, if we can establish there may be some walls, but there are these different areas, when you see this, we'll just work backwards. We'll look at the footage, and we'll go, this is what we need to say it is.
I may have been the only one, but to the moment we started shooting, I thought, disaster, disaster, disaster. And then the camera started rolling, and I was watching the monitor going, well, that worked, but you know, that's not going to work, and then that worked. I was like, shit.
That was another in-camera thing that was insane, was the guys flying along at enormous speed along on these wires as they came into the ship.
We were on the floor doing the slide in, because Jay had this brilliant idea of pulling Colin, one of the brilliant camera operators, back along the floor on his belly with a camera. And Khan's all in control and very serious, as if he's done it before. It's all about being in control. And Kirk's going, and I got up and was like, did you see that? Did anyone see that? It was like test riding an adventure themed ground ride.
And it looked fantastic. You know, even without the wires painted out, it looked genuinely thrilling. I was quite jealous.
I'm sorry about this.
Welcome aboard.